Well, first of all, I want to announce that I'm officially retiring as a Raider. I've never had that opportunity, but honestly, this is what Alumni Weekend is really all about, is really coming back and seeing guys who, for me, being born and raised in Oakland, it's a lot different because I'm around guys who I watched growing up. I'm around guys who I modeled my game after, and to see players from, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Me, I was a 2000s kind of guy, and then seeing guys post 2010 has been great to be here amongst all of these guys. It's been fun. It's like a real fraternity. When people say it's like once a Raider, always a Raider, you truly feel that this weekend. I think that's what this weekend's all about.
You won't go into games.
Right.
You played there. This is the last year in Oakland.
Yeah.
What are the emotions going to be like watching that?
It's been emotional literally the last 3 seasons for me and my family. I grew up born and raised here, going to games, playing games here, and the fondest memories I have are with me and my dad, who's been, the all-time Raider fan. There was a time in which I always said, like, when I grew up in the Bay Area, a lot of kids chose to be 49er fans because there was no team in Oakland. There was no team in the Bay Area besides the 49ers, and my dad would not allow that. So that's how I stayed a Raider fan, and when they came back, we were season ticket holders and still are season ticket holders, which I think is kind of publicized as his Father's Day gift every single year that comes out of my pocket. But I talk more for people like that who've been here and are emotional because they're losing a piece of who you are. I know I've always said, no matter where you live at or where you're from, your football team is your identity. If people say, hey, where are you from? Like, oh, I'm from Oakland. They're like, oh, you must be a Raiders fan. Or if you see a guy, he say, I'm from Pittsburgh, they're not going to say, oh, you're a Pirates or a Penguins fan. It's like, oh, you must be a Steelers fan. So I think that's what the emotional tie is with a lot of Raider fans who are from Oakland, is that now you're taking away that identity of the city, which is hard. And you think about with each passing game, it's like it's one more game taken away and one more closer to Vegas.
The Coliseum gets a lot of criticism in the stadium.
Right.
What's special about it?
It's iconic in the fact that so many years of, first of all, just the games. I remember just the first time I ran out of the Coliseum, I was playing against the Arizona Cardinals in a preseason game, and I literally remember North Turner, who was the head coach, slapped me and said on the side and said, hey, let's go have a good time. It's a preseason game. And literally, I was walking through that tunnel, and emotions kind of overwhelmed, and I literally started crying. Here I am about to try to be the middle linebacker of the Oakland Raiders, and I'm in tears for a preseason game versus the Arizona Cardinals, which probably nobody cared about. But it was the emotions of playing in the Coliseum, where I've watched numerous Raider games. I've watched, Oakland A's games. And so I think the uniqueness of the stadium in terms of the multi-use, being able to have baseball and then football, but it was just the pride of Oakland. It's always been. And they can name it so many different names, but to me it was always the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. And so for me, that's always been home. And I know it won't be probably after this year, but I still will hold all those memories within that.
Kirk, you spent a lot of training camps here in Napa.
Yeah.
Can you give me your general impressions of the facility, as maybe some teams will want to move in after the Raiders leave, and also maybe some impressions of the city of Napa?
I've always said this, there's 32 training camps, and by far, this is the best one that I personally have been to. But then on top of that, just the setup in general. I played for 2 other teams, and in Jacksonville, there's training camp, but it was at the facility. When I played with the Buffalo Bills, you go to a college, St. John's Fisher College, and you're away, but there was something about Napa that I can't really describe. It is a unique setting, first of all, but to be here, and what was unique about Napa was that you actually got 2 climates, right? Like in the morning, you can be fully clothed, long sleeves, 50 degrees, and then have an afternoon practice, and it's about 95 degrees, So it was just the elements that we would always love being out here, and just the setup, man, the green, being able to walk from literally your hotel room to the practice field. You didn't have to walk or drive, anything. It was to a point where when you came to Napa, you parked your car and you literally watch it accumulate dirt for 2 weeks. and you wouldn't leave because there was no reason to leave. Everything was right here for you. So if the Raiders ever do leave here, trust me, there will be a lot of teams that will love to probably come down here and have a very comfortable training camp, because I think it brings out a lot of people, but it brings some camaraderie as well.
Speaking of everything being here, it's wine country, obviously.
Yeah.
Say you were at dinner and you had to order a glass of wine. What would you go with and why?
Whew. Oh man, my wife would probably be. She's into the white wine, so I think for me, I would just be a nice Cabernet. You know what I mean? Nice little Cabernet go along with a nice little filet mignon, about an 8-ounce, medium plus. So like in between medium and medium well is me. So that's all good. All right, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Hey.